Hey, this is Sprint1 of my engine part 2. So for this week I tried to fix everything where I had issues with public functions that are supposed to be private. For instance, my updatable, the user could accidentally call update directly, so I moved it to private. Same thing with drawable and some other ubbles that I spotted it in. For some things that the destructor weren't being called, they were being called, but for instance I had a weird issue where if I wanted to call the destructor of drawable, I actually don't have anything in it right now because the only thing I would do is delete the registration commands. So while it's called, I don't want to delete these because if they get called, they'll call the destructor of the actual commands, which in turn delete that same pointer. So it causes a loop between the pointer deleting the command deleting the pointer indefinitely. So I had to have one or the other, and I chose to just have the pointer to the drawable and whatever ubble, this goes for all my commands, deleted in the destructor of the command rather than the ubble. Maybe it's a logic flaw, but I'm not really seeing it right now, how it's possible to delete both of them. But I'll keep working on that. For my actual tank game update, I fixed the weird camera issue where it was like turning like crazy. You can see it follows behind the tank consistently now. I scaled up the terrain so it doesn't look like a model toy box, and I also scaled up the sky sphere. If you notice, if I leave it running for as long as, whenever, usually, or before, it used to crash after 10 seconds with an assert. Now, I fixed that problem, and the reason being that alarms are deactivated upon being triggered so that we can have repeating alarms. But because of that, when an object died after 10 seconds, there's no way for me to know if it was already deregistered on the alarm or if it should be deregistered upon colliding. So the way I fixed that is just kicking back from the submit deregistration. So before the assert is triggered, I believe this is under right alarms. Let me find that real quick. I just kick back from the function if it's already deregistered, because I don't want it to not only not hit the assert, hitting the assert is fine, but if it ever gets past to actually submitting the command, that's where it causes problems. So I just check before even doing that. If it's already deregistered, then there's no need to do anything, so I just return kickback from the function. And that's the cheapest and easiest way I've found to fix that problem. Otherwise, I'd have to choose between getting rid of repeating alarms or not having any repeating alarms in my game, which kind of sucks for the user. For my research, for the research project, I was looking into particle systems. And the reason being is that I can already see how this would work in my existing system with the way we have ubbles set up. So of course a particle would be a drawable, updatable, and a game object with the lifecycle, because, well, first of all, they need to be drawn and updated in terms of their position, but they also need to exist in a pool, which is what I found this website saying. And then pool in the context of my engine would just be a factory of particles that have died being recycled so that I can reuse them. That way, if I have hundreds of particles, I'm not going to be creating new every single time and keep allocating that memory. I'm just going to be reusing ones that are recycled that have died. This also means that my particles are going to need variables like lifetime, along with some other ones that are listed here. The reason I don't see this website as particularly useful for my case is because they're, first of all, just doing 2D particles, and I'm attempting to do 3D for my case. But they also have an easier way to update things like color directly and alpha directly, whereas I don't know the capability that I have with OpenGL and the way that I can manipulate the shaders, for example, to do things like color changing over time or over lifetime, as well as alpha. Another neat website that I found showcases the same thing, where you have a particle pool or array. You have an emitter and then a manager on top of all of that, as well as two ways to compute the particles. A stateless way, meaning they have no way to know about their previous state, and you just move them based on time. Or preserving their state, meaning you actually keep track of their velocity and acceleration, and then calculate the movement based on that. Both of them have the pros and cons that are listed out here. For my case, I think I'd rather just do it based on time, since I'm looking for a really basic and simple particle system. But it was actually really hard to find ones that are 3D based, especially from scratch. Thankfully, the ones that I did find were based in OpenGL, but particularly things like this, I don't think I could pull off. So for that reason, I was also looking into sound, but I really want my major focus to just be the particle system in case it's more complicated than I think it is. But since I already have a basic general idea of how it should work in terms of my engine, I think it would be a good project to take on. But I'll just have to see how easy or difficult it'll be to pull off, and I'll adjust what I'm going to do based off of that. But yeah, thanks for watching.